it's me, Mann, and it's about 6:20. I just got back from the gym about 15 minutes ago. Got up this morning about 4, jumped in the shower, headed on to the gym. I have been in this state of severe contemplation, of really thinking about my life for the next, I guess, however many years that I'm left on the planet. There's this Bible verse that says that God will make your latter days greater than your former days. And so, although I don't know exactly, what is going to happen, I know that there's going to be some major things in my life that will happen. There's going to be a major shift, of course. And so I'm excited about it, but at the same time, I have really been working on the higher me, the me that is going to help take me into this next space of my life. And it's been very difficult. When you go from one phase to another phase, or one dimension or one level to another, some of them are easier to cross over than others. And for me, this one has been, I thought that it had been about 2.5 years that I had been kind of working on this, but I realized that it was taking place before then. My food is popping in the background, so I'm going to take care of that and I'll be right back. I don't even know why I started this video. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and eat and jump in the shower and get dressed. So basically, these past, oh God, probably when I really began to think about it, I can go back as probably as 5 years that has been in the making. Earlier I was talking about, I originally thought it was like 2.5 years, since I've been really trying to make this transition, but it's been longer than that. I wrote these books called the Pen to Paper series, and the Pen to Paper series were a collection of journal entries from my journal that I had written in about 2013, 12, 13, somewhere around in there. And I decided that at that particular point that I would, go ahead and put these entries into a book format. I felt like I believed at the time, like God had been telling me, to just put these in a book format and don't edit them. So there were thoughts that were unedited. Nothing that had been sent over to an editor for her to basically say, you put this in the wrong tense, because sometimes I believe the way that we say things or do things have more power in it than if we try and clean it up for other people's consumption. And so the books were to be a set of 3 books, and the last one was about transformation and transmutation. And I knew after I had written the second book that the third one was not ready yet. And from that particular time until now, and even now, still, I am working on that transformation piece of it. And this has been quite a journey. It has been a journey of, and I want to be as authentic about this journey so that you guys get the understanding of how difficult it is to kind of move from one space to another, but how rewarding it is at the same time. A lot of times we talk about things that happen in our lives, and we talk about it in such a negative way that those aspects of negativity continue to flow through our lives every day. But when we realize what the contrast is, and kind of lean into it, and kind of try to understand that it's there to really teach us and to help mold us to be into, to turn us into the person that we were meant to be, then we can deal with it better. But I must say that during this time frame that I've had so many ups and downs, and it's been difficult to kind of navigate being up and down like that all the time. It's a really difficult space where you're trying to move through this different terrain, places that you've never been before. Your footsteps have never been there, so you can't, kind of look back and say, okay, so what did I do during this time? This is new terrain. And so the difficulty for me has been to really understand and move not just understand, but to be able to move myself to a higher path. And I've never had this difficulty before, ever. I must say that anything that I've ever wanted, I've been able to move into that space rather quickly. And so for me, I think the difficulty comes in for me of knowing that, in my past I've been able to move to the next level quickly, that I've been able to get the lessons, and move on. But it's not so much about is getting the lessons, it's about actually maintaining it and using it consistently. And that, I don't know why it has been the most difficult for me to do, but it has seriously been very difficult to be really consistent with the new lessons that I'm learning. And so, you at times you want to be hard on yourself, and you're like, okay, so why the heck am I not getting this? Why can't I consistently use this piece of knowledge and move forward? And you have to really understand that sometimes it takes some things a little bit longer to really soak into your spirit. Yes, we can hear it and we can say, oh my God, yes, I got that. But do you really have it? Like, is it down in your spirit and your members? So that way that when you get ready to go to the next step, or you're thinking about the next direction you need to take, you're able to pull that up and to consistently use it. At this stage of the game, I am really, spending a lot of time, with myself, because it's so important for me to gather up my own energy, learn how to harness it and use it, because these are the times that we are in. Our level of consciousness is beginning to get higher collectively, which means that we can't leave anybody else behind. But before we try and pull anybody else up, we've got to make sure that we've got it, to the T. Because if you don't, and you're trying to tell everybody else what it is that they need to do, and when they're not into that space, or you're trying to help them, not even just telling them what to do, but you're trying to help them or show them, if your footing is kind of rocking, you can't help anybody else. You really can't. You have to have that balance. And so for me, it's about a more spiritual intaking of who it is that I am, and getting to know me from a different perspective. Every 10 years, every 5 years, every whatever it is, for whomever it is, you go through these levels of changes where you're no longer or you shouldn't be the same person that you were, because you've had a time period of where you've been learning something different. So you should be growing and evolving. And so for me, this space of growing and evolving has been, a time of really seeking who I am from the core of my being, and really wanting to, exude that and to learn that and to uphold that and to honor it at every level of who it is that I am. And so I've been, doing a lot of things where I've been, checking in with myself. I've been doing some things sometimes. It's crazy. It's really crazy how I've been an even-keeled person for a lot of my years. And here to come into this phase of the game, and like I said, kind of be up and down, and then kind of the person that I was, like, to no longer know who that person really is. Like, who am I at this particular point? Who am I, and what is it that I'm doing, and where am I going, and really wanting to, focus on that. And it's been difficult in the sense of you're sitting there and you're going, it's not that you don't know who you are as a person. I know, I'm Kai Mann. I know that, I'm this great person. But what's at the core of who I am at this level? Because it changes. You change. The game changes. Everything around you changes as you begin to seek a higher level of self. And that is totally what I'm really trying to do, is to move into that higher level of chiasm, so that I can be better, do better, live better, and have more, and be happier, about where it is that I am. Because at this stage, I'm turning 49 in like 5 days. And I just want to spend the rest of my life being happy and enjoying life, and doing the things that I haven't had the opportunity to do. And just travel and, make new friends and hang out with people who feel like I feel, and who understands where it is that I've been and where it is that I'm going, because they've had similar experiences as well. I want to be able to also learn from people who've had different experiences. So the things that I do with my businesses and my company are really geared toward that, and are really in regards to transformation, and seeking a higher level of self, and trying to move forward. A lot of people really probably don't know that the today be mindful are things that are for me, as well as the people who are on my timeline. Let's be mindful of these things, and for me as well, to just be mindful of these things throughout the day. I love the person that I'm becoming. I'm loving the contrast of what it is that I'm going through, because I understand that it's making me better. I'm wanting to, at first I used to want to hurry up, quickly get to the spot. Where's the spot? Let me get to it. But I'm understanding this is a journey. It's a process, and you got to be patient with yourself. You've got to be patient with, the things that are happening around you, and you have to begin to really do the inside work. The inside work is hard. Like, it really is hard. You're sitting up with a mirror pretty much and saying, oh my God, this is who I've been. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to, go and be better. And I'm going to no longer do those things anymore, because those don't benefit me. You can't snap your fingers and, you're this new person. It doesn't work that way. You have to constantly be mindful of the changes that you want to make in your life. Some days are better than others. You come in and you nailed it all day long. Then the next day you might regress and go back. You're like, what the heck is going on? Like, why can't I get this? Why can't I always remember to be mindful of this particular thing? So, in my journey, not only have I been really, focusing on myself and trying to figure out the life that, is Kai. I've been writing and blogging about some things as well, and I've had to go back over my life and kind of look at some things and say, oh my God, those, I don't like that now. Even though at that particular reason I understood what it is that, or why I did it. But that whole hindsight is 2020 thing is so true, because when you get away from a situation, sometimes you can look at how you could have done it differently, but you didn't. So you can't go back and do it differently. You have to, not walk in the shame or the pain of it, but you have to say, okay, I could have done that differently, but I didn't. Making sure that if there's any apologies or forgiveness that needs to happen, that those things occur, but you have to let it go so that you can keep walking and moving forward. Because if you don't, every time that you allow certain things to just attach itself to you, then you're just kind of like walking with all this baggage, so to speak, and it's hard to walk that way. It's hard to move into the next level. It's hard to move to the next dimension with all these things that, are weighing you down. So it's for me to have this time to really just hold up the mirror and really be able to look at myself from the time that I can remember who I was to this point of now, and begin to understand that those things are things that happen along the journey, and to learn to heal from them and to move on from them. I am very excited about where my life is taking me. I'm very excited about. So the video on the inside of the studio in there, my battery went dead on my recorder, but it's okay. But I'm laughing at myself on the inside because I was being lazy, and instead of, putting the charger on, I'm like, I'm not going to talk that long. And I talked well over the allotted amount of that one little bar. And so here I am doing this piece of it. But anyway, you won't be able to see me. But I wanted to really talk about this change, this space of transformation, and how it's really, opening me up as a person and allowing me to be in a very emotional state, and which is, very different for me because I'm not a crier. I'm not a, person who kind of, not to say that I don't show emotion, but, this level of emotion, I don't. And so, just allowing myself to be in whatever emotion and feeling it has been kind of, I guess, healing and cathartic for me. And so I'm just more emotional than I have ever been in my life. And I could be laughing because I could be thinking, okay, it could be, menopause, it could be a whole host of things, but just being in the space of allowing yourself to feel and to be and to understand where it is that you are and to be okay with it, and to understand that your life experiences, they don't define who you are like right now. It helps you to move into the space of where it is that you're going and where you want to be. And, when you think about right now, it's actually already the past. Like, it's already happened from a spiritual sense of it. That you have to be aware of that this is not the end result. This is not, where you're going to end up unless you, don't allow yourself to keep walking forward. And so for me, this has just been a great space of understanding and opening and healing and, trying to walk through that space of transformation to move to the next dimension of life, because I'm actually going into the next dimension of life. I keep telling my sons that when I talk to them, and I really want them to understand, life in itself. And when I'm really wanting them to understand where it is that I'm going and what it is that I'm trying to do, I let them know that I am closer to death than I am to life. Like, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum at this point, and this is why everything is so important to me, to have and to be and to live and to evolve, because this is I won't say it's the last ride, but I mean that it is closer. I'm closer to, the end of my life than I am, the beginning of it. And so I really just want to, enjoy it to the fullest. And I really want to live a more abundant life. And I really want to understand, what this life has to offer. I want to understand the laws of attraction. I want to understand how to be happy even when your circumstances, are not stating that you should really be happy. I really want to move into this different space of being Kai and who Kai is from a different perspective, from this leg of the journey. And so for me, it's just been about really trying to get a handle on my life and what I want it to be, and how to really focus on what I want and not focus on the things that I don't want. Because the law of attraction, you focus on those things that you don't want, you get more of that, rather than focus on the things that you really do want, you would get those things, and you would get them faster. And so I I'm in love with life, and I'm in love with the contrast, and I'm understanding the contrast and why it's happening, and and how to not let it overtake me, because it is contrast. But this is just that space. And if anybody is going through the same things, please feel free to to comment or send me an email. You can email me at KAIOLOGY12@gmail.com, and let's talk. I really want to talk to people who are in this space of knowing who they are, feeling like they've got to evolve and move into a different space, and that they are seeking their higher selves, because it is work. It's work to put in. It really is. I thank you guys for listening. We never ever realize what other people are going through. We see them on Facebook, Instagram, and we see them post happy stuff, and we don't know what their lives are really like. I had the opportunity to talk with a friend, a couple weeks ago, and we've each been doing our own things, and when she said to me that she used to be hungry, that did something to my soul. Like, it really did something to my soul. How many people that you think you're checking in on, or you think that they're okay, and they're really not. Like, they're not okay. They're not eating. They don't have any food because they're trying to make sure everybody else is okay, or that they're trying to help other people do whatever, and they're not okay. It has really been amazing to be in this space that I'm in, because I've been able to not only just talk with other people about things that they've gone through, I've been able to admit some things to myself about some things that I myself have gone through. Sometimes you're so focused on moving forward that you put some things behind you so far that you don't recognize that those things are they've happened, and you kind of like sat it in the bag, and you're still holding on to the bag, but then you're still trying to move forward as well.